The story of Courtney Hadwin did not begin with bright lights, loud applause, or millions of viewers watching her online. It started in a quiet place in County Durham, England, where she grew up like any other child. Before anyone knew her name, she was simply a young girl who felt a deep connection to music. From a very early age, she showed something special. She was not just listening to songs, she was feeling them. Music filled her home, and she naturally picked up different styles without anyone forcing her to learn. While other children played games, she would dance around her living room and try to copy the voices she heard in songs. At that time, she did not understand technique or training. She just followed her instincts. This natural way of learning helped her build a strong emotional connection with music. As she grew older and started school, teachers began to notice that her singing was different. It had a raw feeling that stood out. She was not just hitting the right notes, she was expressing emotion. Even when her voice was not perfect, she showed confidence and courage. She was never afraid to be heard. This early stage of her life helped shape her identity, because music was not just something she enjoyed. It became a part of who she was. As Courtney continued growing, her relationship with music became stronger and more serious. What started as fun slowly turned into something more focused. She began to practice more often, not because she had to, but because she wanted to improve. At school, she joined music activities and later became part of a choir. These experiences helped her gain confidence and understand how to perform in front of others. She learned how repetition and practice could make her better. Outside of school, she also spent time practicing at home. She would stand in front of a mirror and imagine she was performing on a real stage. She paid attention to her posture, breathing, and expressions. Even at a young age, she showed a level of dedication that was unusual. Her parents supported her passion, but did not pressure her. They gave her the freedom to explore music in her own way. This balance helped her stay happy and motivated. She also started performing in small community gatherings, where people encouraged her to sing. These early performances were important because they helped her understand how an audience reacts. She began to learn that performing was not just about singing well, but about connecting with people. Slowly, her confidence grew, and she started to see herself not just as a girl who sings, but as someone who could become a performer. As she entered her early teenage years, her dreams began to grow bigger. She no longer saw music as just a hobby. She started to imagine herself performing on larger stages and reaching more people. Inspired by artists she admired, she wanted to create powerful moments through her voice. She became more serious about practice and began to work on her vocal control. She also started writing small pieces of lyrics to express her feelings. This showed that her connection to music was becoming deeper. It was no longer about copying others, it was about finding her own voice. She also began to choose songs based on emotion rather than popularity. She wanted to sing songs that allowed her to express something real. At the same time, people in her community started noticing her talent more. Small mentions in local media and school recognition helped build her confidence. However, what mattered most to her was not fame, but the feeling that her voice could touch people. Even with growing attention, she stayed grounded. She continued her studies, spent time with friends, and lived a normal life. This balance helped her stay connected to reality while chasing her dreams. At this stage, she was building both her skills and her identity as an artist, preparing for something much bigger that was about to come. The turning point in her life came when she stepped onto a major talent show stage. This moment changed everything. The environment was completely new and overwhelming. There were bright lights, a large audience, and professional judges watching closely. It was a level of pressure she had never experienced before. However, she remained calm, not because she was fearless, but because she was prepared. When she began her audition, something remarkable happened. At first, she appeared shy and quiet, but as soon as the music started, she transformed. Her performance was full of energy, emotion, and power. She did not just sing, she became the performance. The audience and judges were surprised by her voice and stage presence. Their reaction quickly changed from curiosity to excitement. By the end of her performance, the entire room was filled with applause. This moment was not just about talent. It was about authenticity. People could see that she was not pretending to be someone else. She was expressing herself in a real and honest way. After the show aired, her performance spread quickly online. Millions of people watched it, and her name became known around the world. In a very short time, she went from a local talent to an international sensation. With sudden fame came many changes in her life. Her daily routine became much busier. She had to travel, attend interviews, rehearse, and perform regularly. At the same time, she tried to continue her education with the help of tutors. Balancing school and a growing career was not easy. She had to adapt quickly to a new lifestyle. Performances became more complex, with professional lighting, cameras, and choreography. She learned how to control not just her voice, but also her movements and stage presence. While this brought exciting opportunities, it also brought pressure. People began to expect more from her. Fans shared her performances online, and their opinions added another layer of stress. For a young artist, this kind of attention can be challenging. Despite this, she stayed focused on what she loved most, music. In interviews, she often spoke about singing as a way to release emotions. This helped her stay grounded. However, the fast pace of her new life also caused fatigue. She had to learn how to manage both physical and emotional stress. This period taught her important lessons about discipline, balance, and resilience. It showed that success is not just about talent, but also about the ability to handle pressure and change. At a certain point in her journey, she faced a serious setback that interrupted her progress. Her schedule changed suddenly, and planned performances had to be postponed. This moment brought uncertainty into her life. Instead of moving forward quickly, she had to pause and focus on recovery. During this time, she stepped away from the spotlight and spent more time in a quiet environment. Her family played an important role, giving her support and stability. Recovery was not easy. It required patience and care. She had to take small steps, including rest, gentle practice, and rebuilding her strength. Emotionally, this period was also difficult. She began to reflect on her journey and process her experiences through writing and music. Instead of seeing this pause as a failure, she started to understand it as part of growth. She realized that progress is not always a straight line. Sometimes, stopping is necessary to move forward again. When she slowly returned to performing, there was a noticeable change in her. Her voice carried deeper emotion, shaped by her experiences. This setback, although challenging, became an important part of her development. It taught her resilience and gave her a new perspective on her career and identity. When she returned to music, she did so with a new mindset. Her performances showed more control and maturity. She still had the same energy, but now it was balanced with a deeper understanding of emotion. She began to participate in charity events and collaborate with other artists. These experiences shifted her focus from competition to connection. She was no longer just trying to prove herself. Instead, she wanted to share music with others. She also started working on original songs and exploring her own style. This was an important step because it allowed her to move from being a contestant to becoming a true artist. Producers noticed her growth and praised her ability to combine emotion with technique. At this stage, her identity became clearer. She was no longer just known for one performance. She was building a long-term career. Her journey showed that real success is not about one moment, but about continuous